Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm bringing you another Q&A type video, or chats with me, I guess you could say. So I'm kind of torn between two different names. So I'm going to either call this series of me talking and answering questions and you name it, Chats with V or the T with V. So Chats with V or the T with V. What do you guys think? I would love to hear your feedback and what you think sounds better down below. And let's get to it. So I'm just basically answering the second round of questions that I was answering from a previous video because I couldn't get through them all. There was just too many and I ended up talking way too long. So I'm going to try to be a little bit more concise with my answers and I'm going to try to get through a few more, but I make no promises. So let's start it off with, what are the 5 foods you hate? So I really tried to think about 5 foods I hated and I really couldn't think of 5. The only thing that really stuck into my head was cilantro, because I hate cilantro. I don't know if it's like an acquired taste that you need to get yourself accustomed to. I feel like with cilantro, it's either people love it or people hate it. I hate it. I can taste the smallest amount of cilantro in anything and I'm just like, ugh. Other than that, I don't really like spicy food. I'm kind of a baby when it comes to spicy food, and I feel like it kind of upsets my stomach. So I could not think of 5. I pretty much like all food. I'm a foodie, so yeah, I would say those are basically the 2 that I can think of. I'm not a fan of spicy, and cilantro, no. I'm sorry if you're like a team cilantro. I you know, there are those people, but just not for me. Okay, let's get to another question. Alright, so was it hard to give up competing to get healthy? Yes and no. At the time, I feel like it was like a transition of a lot of thinking and reflection and kind of pros and cons. Knowing me, I make a pro and cons list when I make decisions on things. I anything, if I have a life-changing decision or at the time seems like a life-changing decision or something, I will make a pros and cons list and I kind of analyze and break things down. That's just what works for me. I've done that pretty much with any big decision I've ever had to make. So even with Regan, I'm like, Regan, we're making a pros and cons list, and we do that. So at the time, yes, but I feel like because it was a decision that I made over the course of 4 or 5 months, it wasn't as it wasn't one day I just woke up and I had made that decision. It was kind of at the back of my mind, eating away at me for a while, and I kind of tried to push those thoughts away because I just wanted to keep doing what I was doing. And then it wasn't really until I started into another prep, I was prepping for Canadian Nationals, that I was just not in it. Normally I'm so driven and focused, and when I'm following a diet, I'm on the diet to a T. I never think to even go off the diet, and this time I was just I didn't really care to be following things 100%. Excuse me, my cardio was just kind of all over the place. It wasn't the same kind of focus and passion I've had before. So that was, and I was just feeling kind of stressed about it, and I wasn't enjoying it. It just felt like a burden. That's kind of when I knew it wasn't for me anymore. So I wouldn't say it was difficult in one point at time. I'd say it was a difficult transition because that is what I identified myself as doing, is competing. I feel like I had a lot of people who looked up to me for that aspect, and I felt like I was letting a lot of people down. But I think in terms of what you have to just do what's right for you and what you feel is going to make you happy, and that's kind of just the decision I made. So it definitely took some time to adjust, but I feel like I made the right decision and I'm happier that I am not competing anymore. Alrighty. So do women try to slide into your husband's DMs, and has it ever bothered you? Yes, it doesn't bother me, no, because I mean, people are obviously trying to slide into his DMs. He probably has a lot of men trying to slide into his DMs too. But I mean, guys try to slide into my DMs, I just don't respond. I decline them. So I mean, ideally, if you're in a situation where your man is constantly responding to women's DMs, then you're obviously not in a very healthy relationship, and I think that I would try to reevaluate things. At the end of the day, you gotta trust your partner. If they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. That's how I view it. So if you're gonna constantly stress and worry about that, then you're not gonna have a healthy relationship, because your relationship isn't gonna be built on trust. So I think you gotta trust your partner, and I mean, those things shouldn't affect you. It shouldn't bother you, because at the end of the day, if you feel trust and love, then you know that he's not doing that. So I'm sure he gets tons of slides in the DMs, and I'm sure there's a lot of men who slide in those DMs too, if you know what I mean. It's true. All right. Do you ever feel overlooked by Regan that he puts too much emphasis on bodybuilding? No. I mean, there's been times when he's like deep into a prep where I can feel it's more of like it's difficult because he's so focused on one thing, and sometimes you are pushed to the side. I feel like because I've competed and I know what it takes to, you know, get to that level of leanness or to do your best, that you have to really be in that tunnel vision. And bodybuilding, unfortunately, is a very selfish sport, and you very focus on yourself. But at the same time, I feel like when Regan's competing is like when he's like on his game, he's like thriving and he's so motivated that seeing him like that motivates me. So it kind of like elevates us both in a sense. And because I understand what it requires, the last, you know, 4 weeks, I'm not like, I know when to take a step back, and I don't see it as like him, you know, pushing me to the side, because it's just, it is what it is. That's like the lifestyle we chose. That's the sport. We do still make time for one another. I think that's important. You gotta just like make special moments for one another. And I think it's just like a thing in life. I mean, like as you progress through your relationship, as you know, have kids, or things just change and the dynamic of your relationship changes, you're gonna have to spend more time focusing on having that quality time. So I think it doesn't matter if it's competing or if it's just family or just life in general. Life's crazy, it's busy, and it can be easy to disconnect, so it's important to focus on connecting. So, no, not really. I mean, I love when Regan competes. It's fun. It can be difficult, but it's what we do. It's like what we've always done. So, all right. Hi. What Alani new products helps with abs? So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that any product is going to just give you abs. That's just not how it works. Obviously, you need to have proper diet, training, all has to kind of be flowing together for you to get the best results. In terms of products that are going to help you achieve results faster, if you're looking for something, I mean, if you're not getting enough protein in your diet, I would encourage you to supplement with protein, because it's important to get enough protein, especially if you're trying to build muscle, lean out. In terms of healthy fats, you can always supplement with a fish oil. If you're finding that your hormones are really off balance, if you're having problems with your hormones, you're likely not going to be seeing the results you want. So that's when you can maybe take a look at the Balance product. I personally haven't tried Balance, so I'm not going to sit here and say I have, because I'm just like, I'm going to try it eventually, but I'm skeptical of it because of my anxiety, because it can make it worse for some people. But if you look at the reviews of that product, they are like phenomenal, and everyone I know who uses it loves that product, so it's definitely something to look into. But I think before you really get focused and consumed on supplements that are going to be giving you abs, I would really take a step back and focus and look into your diet and your training and your cardio and get those things right before you even look into the supplement world. That's how I feel. Do you believe in carb cycling? Yes. So carb cycling, when I used to compete and I would be in a calorie deficit or dieting towards something, I would always implement carb cycling. When I used to coach clients in contest prep, I would always implement carb cycling. I feel like carb cycling has a lot of benefits in terms of dieting and just the whole physiological mechanism behind it. But again, it's very individual and what works best for you. So I think in terms of finding an approach that works for you, it's very much, you have to kind of trial and error. It depends on who your coach is and what they believe in and what their approach is. But I personally, for myself, have seen a lot of results with carb cycling, and with clients have seen a lot of results with carb cycling. And if you look at the research, there is a lot of positive things that say about carb cycling. So if that makes sense. Favorite meal or treat? Ooh. Okay, so my favorite meal. So I'm from London, Ontario. I'm pretty sure somebody asked me that. So I'm not from London, England, as you can sense the accent, but I am from London, Ontario, which Ontario is a province in Canada, and London is a city in Ontario. So we have a place called The Works here in London, and they make a burger called the Hunka Hunka. The Hunka Hunka is a basic beef patty. On top of it, there is bacon, peanut butter, banana, and it is so good. So I'm definitely like a savory person over sweets. Don't get me wrong, I have my dark chocolate every single night, like way too much of it. But in terms of like what I like and treat wise, I'm like popcorn, chips, rice cakes, nachos, burger, fries, like those are my jams. So I would say That's my favorite meal. And if you go to the Works, they don't tell you, but there is bottomless fries. It's not something like, so I'm giving you like the inside here, like bottomless fries. So basically you get free refills on your french fries. Not the sweet potato ones, unfortunately, but the regular ones you get bottomless, so take advantage of that. And yeah, so if you like peanut butter and banana on any combination, like rice cakes, bread, you name it, you will like it on a burger. I know it sounds weird, like peanut butter banana on a burger with bacon, and it's not for everyone, but if you like that combination in general, I guarantee you will like it, and I highly suggest you try it. And you can't go wrong with a name called Hunka Hunka. Like, it's just a good name. Okay, did it take a lot of trial and error for you to find the right psych med? I've tried 7 and want to stop. It did take a few different types. It definitely did not take 7. That's a lot, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. For me, I think I tried, in total, I've tried 5 different meds. But the first 2 did not work for me. The third one I was on for quite some time, and then it kind of stopped working for me. Then I tried a combination of 2. Then I tried the one on its own, and basically now I'm on just one particular medication, like that I take every single day, and then I take another drug if I on an as needed basis, which basically is like if I'm feeling super, super, super anxious, I'll take that one. But I do just take an SSRI every single day. So it did take some time, and it can be very frustrating, I know, but I think there is the right med for a lot of people out there, but there might not be one for you. So you might have to look into other resources in terms of dealing with your medication. I mean, I'm not the one who's really the best to be the one to give you advice on that. Obviously, your doctor will be the one with the expertise and the knowledge in that field, but don't give up yet. I think you can still try to find something that will work for you. There is so many different types out there, or if you have not, I would suggest to try and look into utilizing CBD oils. I know a lot of people that use those for their anxiety and have had like crazy results, or like just it's helped them tremendously. For me, I did try the CBD oil for a little bit. It helped a lot with my sleep, which was good, but it did not necessarily allow me to function with my anxiety. But everyone's different, so there are people that can really use that and see the benefits. So I think that's another type of, you know, resource that you should maybe look into or utilize. Okay. All right, I think this is a great question. So what do you think your life would be like if you didn't suffer from anxiety and depression, and do you think it would change much? I think it would change my life drastically, to be honest, but at the same time, I think it wouldn't, I would be a different person. So it's like, I am who I am because of the things I've gone through and the struggles I've faced. And if I didn't have that aspect or component of what I go through in my life, I wouldn't be who I am today. But in terms of how it would change my life, I think my life would be a lot more consistent. I wouldn't have so many ups and downs. I would be a lot more fearless in my pursuit to do things, because a lot of times I don't want to do things because I'm afraid or I have anxiety or overthink things. I think I would have better connections with people because I myself would be able to connect more. I wouldn't be overthinking how people are viewing me and just having like social anxiety in general. But at the same time, I think I am who I am because of those things. So I wouldn't change things because I like who I've become as a person, and those things that I've gone through have really shaped me into who I am. But I do think my life would be different if I hadn't gone through a lot of the stuff I've gone through, but different in a way that would be more positive. I can't say that for sure. I would probably be doing more. I would have less fear, but in terms of who I am as a person, I think I would be a completely different person because I wouldn't have had those experiences to shape me into who I am. So I think you grow through what you go through, and I think that having any kind of mental health issues is not something that you should view as a negative thing. I think it's something you should view as it makes you who you are as a person, and that's why you are the person you are today. What are 3 characteristics you think are essential to be a good partner? So I didn't really think about this one, but so I'm gonna have to just. So communication is huge. You need to have good communication with your partner. I think understanding and compassion is huge because you're not always going to see eye to eye, and sometimes your partner's going to go through things and you have to kind of like understand where they're coming from. I think trust, I'm not sure if that's necessarily a characteristic, but I think trust is huge. If you don't have trust in your relationship, I'm not sure where you can build. I think trust is the foundation. So it's like if you're trying to build a house but you don't have the foundation, how are you supposed to build it? So I think those are like 3 essential things to have. So yeah, I would say those are like my 3 essential things to have in terms of building a strong relationship. I'm not necessarily sure if those are characteristics, but okay. Fave alcoholic drink. So okay, I'm really big baby when it comes to alcohol. Like, I can't do shots. I'm also on medication, so when I drink, you're not really supposed to mix the two together. So when I tell people like I can't drink a lot, I genuinely cannot drink a lot. Like, I get super drunk off like 2 or 3 drinks. So I can't do shots because I have 2 shots and I'm gone. So for me, I like to do vodka and Diet Coke. I like the taste of it. It tastes good as a mixed drink. I mean, obviously the vodka's not too strong because I don't really like to taste a lot of it. And I find with the Diet Coke, because there's not a lot of sugar, I mean, you're getting aspartame, but there's no sugar, I don't get hungover the next day. Like, I like wine, I love wine, but I feel like the hangover is really just not worth it. So I have to be very strategic when I'm drinking wine. And again, I have like 1 glass of wine and I'm drunk. It's bad. I'm a lightweight. Okay, let's see. Have you and Regan ever thought about moving outside of London? Yes, we have, but we have not. What are you laughing at? I can't answer any of these questions without getting someone laughing at me. Okay, yeah, we have definitely, but at the same time, like our business is here, our friends, our family are here. We have like our roots like dug in here, and also it's super cheap to live in London, especially where we live. So I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't bought our future home yet, so I'm not really sure. I think if anything, we will keep home base here in London and then just keep traveling kind of like how we are. I think we'd ideally like to spend less time in Canada for the winters, because the winters are very difficult, but it's still a very up in the air question, and we do like having our family and friends here in London. So at that point, we definitely considered it, but we haven't really made any moves in what we're considering. All right. What is your favorite book? So my favorite book probably would be Shadow of the Wind. I can't even remember the author's name, but if you look it up, it's a very well-known book, and the writing is just like, it's beautifully written. It's originally written in Spanish and translated into English, but it's probably one of my favorite books. Just the story is great, and just the writing is like beautiful. I also really like Glass Castle. It's a memoir about her life, and I just think it's very interesting to see a perspective into someone else's life. So those are 2 books that I genuinely love. But I read a lot, so if you, I do read a lot of fiction, but it's kind of like how it's my time. So I have Goodreads, which is that app that basically you rate books and stuff. So you can follow me on there, because I do read. I'd say I read at least 1 book a week, sometimes 2 a week, depending if I'm traveling a lot, because I like to read when I'm traveling. All right, we're almost at the end. The end is near. How do you get a smaller waist? So smaller waist, like a lot of the times your waist is very dependent on your genetics. Obviously, if you lose weight, your waist is going to get smaller. But I think the biggest thing, and people always think I have a really small waist. Like, my waist is small, but I also have quite broad shoulders and a wide back, and my bum is bigger, so it gives that illusion of a smaller waist. So if you work on your booty, it's going to give you that illusion. If you work on the back width and your shoulders, it's going to give you that illusion. So creating that illusion is going to give you that V taper, which is going to make your waist look smaller. So that would be my advice for that. Okay, I answered all the questions, and this video was definitely not as long as the last one. So I'm going to do these regularly, and hopefully the questions won't be overlapping too much, but I've had fun answering them. I hope the questions have been helpful and somewhat insightful for you guys, and stay tuned for more things, and let me know what you guys are thinking. Chats with V or the T with V. I want to know, and thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and stay tuned for more questions.
I